Afternoon. I'm going to continue reading AIMEE OSMULSKI, A Call for Action. I stopped before the end of chapter 3 on the 28th of August. Sorry, Amy, I haven't had time to do any more until today. I'm making the time to read from where I left off. I might read a few words of that. They try to sell us on their clean energy lies, when all along Nikola Tesla had that knowledge. They kept it from us in order to make their profits, and Tesla was silenced. And people now praise Albert Einstein, who stole much of his work. They have simply found a new way to profit off of us, and are pushing this tyrannical system on us to try and achieve it. Utility companies and of course the banks are all in on this. J.P. Morgan, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, Goldman Sachs. Search the Climate Financing Center, dated July 15th, 2020. The carbon hoax, as they're trying to tax us for exhaling carbon. People seem to forget that we are carbon-based bodies and plants need carbon. God does not make mistakes. This is an anti-human and anti-life agenda. 130 major banks have lined up with the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, and every single person going along with this will be held accountable for their actions via a human rights tribunal headed by We the People. Agenda 21 is very soon. They also have Agenda 2030, which is when they hope all will be finished. What they mean by that is the biggest cull of people, human beings, normal human beings, not humanoids, the world has ever seen since the Great Flood in the time of Noah's Ark. That's not written here, Amy, I'm sorry I put that in, but that's how I feel when reading what you've written. Okay. If you have invested in solar with battery backups, read your contracts. Your energy can be taken from your home, wait for this, to keep their institutions going. My brother Peter has solar, I don't. I'm in a shared accommodation, we've not got anything solar. Are you pissed off yet? It is high time they get off their lazy arses and stop abusing the people who have been enslaved by their lies. Then look up Executive Order 11001. I will repeat that. Executive Order 11001. They will control all health, education and welfare. Executive Order 11002. Postmaster General think census will have a national registration of all persons. This will be used against you in the following ways. What happens in America happens here. They're identical in their record keeping. So don't just think this is about America. It's a worldwide project. So you do your own research for your own country. UK, America, you can look up all, you'll see the lineage. No, right. All persons, this will be used against you in the following ways. Number of people per square footage of home. Someone will inevitably be tested positive for COVID, as even the unused swabs come back positive. If not adequate space in home for quarantine, think bathrooms, etc. They will take your children to their facility, which I pray to God is not on one of their islands. This is already happening in Arkansas, and what a surprise! Who do we know from there? What family is known for Arkansiding people? They even have their own body count. Then we will be told to social distance and wear masks in our homes, when we are as people social creatures. They will limit our access to water with their smart meters, thus causing more mass chaos and more deaths due to suicide and lack of necessary resources. Executive Order 10999, they will control all food resources and farms so they can deploy their biofood based on your social credit score. Smart meters allow distribution automation. Here we go again. 5G is a kill grid and can activate the contaminants in the vaccines most of us have already received. Not me. So even those of us who refuse the new rushed one are still screwed. We just didn't take the mark of the beast. 60 gigahertz is equivalent to gassing the population, as if they haven't been doing that all along with their trails in the sky. If you need any more information than provided here, you might as well go and see if Bill Gates is hiring. Is the earth flat? Some people are hardcore believers, although I do not think this is the best time for such a topic, as there are more pressing matters at hand. If they have lied about all of this, we must question and research every single thing that we have been told. Here AIMEE will reference another movie that, if you've not seen it already, I highly recommend you watch it. The Truman Show with Jim Carrey, Carrey. Many people these days say Jim has lost his mind, but I believe that he has seen this evil firsthand and is trying his best to warn people. Furthermore, anyone who is aware of these things and hasn't felt like they are going crazy, they are the crazy ones. Shia LaBeouf, LeBouf, is another. And do you remember how many times Britney Spears and many other celebrities, Michael Jackson, seem to have lost their minds? Then they get put into a facility and then come back out all fine and dandy. That, my friends, is their MK Ultra at work, and those facilities are where they get reprogrammed or threatened to act accordingly to assist in pushing this plan. I do not think that is as pressing as some make it out to be. Not for now, at least. Let us focus on the depopulation agenda, the child trafficking, the deployment of 5G, and the overall theft of their slaves. In other words, us, we the people, their service population, or they also refer to us as useless eaters worldwide. Then we will worry if the world is flat or round, unless you have a way we can get to these bastards hiding out in the Antarctica Antarctica, or their underground, well-stocked subtropolis cities in America, then by all means let us have the information. We have a right to know all sides of all these things that impact ours and our children's lives, and come to our own conclusions. Again, I ask you, who do these people think they are? Bill Nye, the lying science guy? Neil deGrasse? Someone's going to kick your ass, Tyson. Just look and see what actual degrees they hold regarding science. They sell out celebrities everyone holds so dear, have sold their souls for fame and fortune, which, may I remind you, is not nearly as important as what awaits them for eternity. Hell, hell, hell. Ask people this: would you let your child spend the night at the Clintons' house alone? How about Biden, who has been seen groping many young girls countless times? Again, Alan Dershowitz, the man who fought for Epstein. Would you let your child spend the night there? Why then are we listening to known child abusing psychopaths? If you think Disney is safe, what was Cinderella's stepmother's cat's name? Lucifer! Get it! How about uncomfortable Snow White and the poisoned apple? Never once do we have anything related to God saving us. I won't even get into Oprah Winfrey and her role in all of these things. Secret billionaire meetings, along with her role in that Disney flick. She still plays the racial card when she has been blessed beyond words as far as money and lifestyle goes. There are two actors who I can say are not in favour of this racial divide: Morgan Freeman and Denzel Washington. Did the cowboys not take care of things that we the people could not also take care of, minus the corrupt government, media, law enforcement that is already in place? I say we bring back wanted, reward posters, and let these so-called elites, so-called royals' estates be the reward to anyone who gives these sick bastards up. We the people need public execution for the child crimes they have committed. And I'm talking how they did things in the days of Jesus. Stoning, crucifying, etc., etc., etc. Let them suffer as those poor children did. SRAs, satanic ritual abuse, and it hasn't stopped. I cannot watch this happen and say nothing. I will not watch as children and the rest of you are led to the slaughter simply because they have the technology, the money, and are so bored to do so. They literally think they are giving their children the world. How are these children going to live once all people are aware, knowing they too have been indoctrinated with these sick and vile thoughts of how their bloodlines are superior to ours. They did not get where they are by superior bloodlines, but underhanded, scheming, murderous, thieving and lies. Not on my watch. Not with my son, or any child for that matter, or my girls, or animals. Testing that has gone on for years and will only continue with this pandemic hoax. See Vernon Coleman's take on this. If his YouTube, I call them woohoo boob, as they're promoting the UN WHO hoax while trying to silence those of us speaking out about it. Channel videos aren't deleted by then. His website, www.vernoncoleman.com, has transcripts of even the banned videos. He is a doctor, a real doctor, not one of these sellouts who's merely looking for money. In fact, he's not monetized. He doesn't accept money of any kind for his videos, which he's been doing since March. He will not take money. In fact, it probably costs him money to do what he's doing. He's also being targeted for sharing the truth. There is also a senator, former doctor, Scott Jensen, who is being threatened for the same honest words coming out of his well-educated, non-greedy mouth. Have we forgotten that money is simply paper, that these so-called elites have given a said value to? Nowadays, maybe it is zeros and ones in a computer that claims so-and-so has X amount of dollars in his or her bank account. So we should bow to them accordingly. There are more important things in this world than money, and God gave us all that we need to survive without stealing from one another, simply so they don't have to lift a finger for their entire lives and pass said benefits to their inbred children, whom are also taught this eugenics idea. The urgency of this cannot be expressed in mere words, for as fast as we can get the truth out, they have droves of people working to bury it. The control of all aspects of the media, newspapers included, all of our technology, all of our food, money, water, electricity, and so on. I suggest we go back to the old days. Dig wells for fresh, clean water that has not had fluoride or chlorine added to it, safely avoiding gas power lines and being mindful of children or animals not falling inside, etc. And do not get permits, as I said before. They are not following the rules. So why should we get solar panels, water turbines and windmills going? Remember, Bill Gates is blocking out our sun. So we need to think outside the box. I'm also soon to stop paying for the cell phones and internet that are our new target acquiring devices. I will never pay another dime to the IRS, not just because they've stolen even that from me, as I did not consent for my hard-earned tax dollars to fund towers, plane spraying, and people like Epstein and his cronies who abuse children. Documents recently released on this. Go search those. Do not rely on Wikipedia. Google all the lights. Look at patents. government or military documents as well as the websites of these people, World Economic Forum, making medical recommendations simply for the benefits of their economic theft of the people. I expected my taxes to fund things like schools, building roads and such. Instead, it is being used to target the people who actually work and pay their taxes, not these so-called elites with their never-ending tax breaks. I need to add this in, as many will call me an anti-vaxxer. I am in no way such a person, as I have seen parvovirus in unvaccinated dogs, and it is a horrible death. Furthermore, when I was a child, I could not be near a cat. After years of allergy injections, 3 shots every week and 2 bouts of anaphylactic shock, I can at least enjoy them somewhat now, although still very allergic, but they did help some. I guess I am for safety tested, non-forced, and definitely not rushed injections. That means tested 4 or 5 years, and certainly not when the so-called elites refuse to vaccinate themselves or their families. They should be first in line. How do you know the real injection's in it? It might just be pretend. And with the same harmful ingredients that we get, not special ones for them. Vaccine titers, blood tests should be done on all of them, and I want to run said tests. I have laboratory experience, says AIMEE, and am more than qualified, and I would be truthful with the results. That's what AIMEE wrote, and that's what AIMEE said. If they choose for our second wave, which we've been hit with now, to be the bubonic plague, I wanted to give some information that I came across. And again, if this single mum found the time to research, which she is a single mum, then you can too. Medical historians have since confirmed that due to Napoleon forcing 36 vaccines on his military soldiers, that said injections were indeed the cause of said disaster. See Dr. Belsky, 1958, Belsky. It is also good to know that antibiotics such as amoxicillin, AMOXICINNIN, can cure such a disease. I am merely repeating a doctor. I am not giving medical advice, although many doctors and nurses that I trust say that fish antibiotics are the same as ours, and I know this to be true from my years in the veterinary field. It is eerily strange how these things come into play. Research the 100 Years' War, the plague of Justinian, and how the Spanish flu came about just around the time that all these radio frequencies started to be placed all over the world. The Black Death, as it was called back then, killed 1/3 of the population of Euro, Asia and India. That would go perfectly along with their Georgia Guidestones ideals. The wealthy hid back then, just as they are doing now. They blamed the Jews for poisoning the wells, which makes me wonder what our governments have already done to our water supplies, both tap and bottled, as fluoride is even added there. I would invest in a Berkey water filtration system with the fluoride filters if I had the money. Well, you could actually do what I do and use a distiller. put your water from the tap in that. It takes 2 hours and your water's pure. The use and misrepresentation of fluoride is now being fought in our not so trustworthy court systems for a very good reason. They told us it was for better teeth. After doing much research and then having my suspicions confirmed by a reliable source, the simple truth of the matter is that it calcifies our pineal gland, which in turn would allow us the ability to become more enlightened. Berkey, which you spoke about a moment ago, has a filter for their water filtration system as of now. That is the only way that I am aware of to get the fluoride out of your water. Yes, even bottled water and our showers too. This has gone on for quite a long time, but I have to get to the end because chapter 4 follows shortly. Sorry it's taking longer than I expected. Again, I apologise for jumping around on all of this, but it is very difficult to run a household, raise and homeschool a child alone with no support other than my father, who lives 2 hours away. AIMEE says, I am doing my very best, but as I mentioned earlier, time is of the essence here, and I do not acknowledge the word fail. They will not win this as long as I'm still breathing, and they are working on that literally and figuratively. Also research cytotoxicity and then look up BEAS/2B beast. This is what they are claiming is Sahara dust, but rather the crap being sprayed on us that we can all see on our cars, screens, windows, etc. And here you can on windows. Research which masks will actually protect you from the real threats, not this hoax virus that can pass through most masks available. I am now going to expose the lies and murders of 2 awesome musicians who were trying to expose all of this. And what do you know? They killed themselves. I doubt it. No, they did not. They had families and children of their own, and they would not leave them in this world knowing what we know. Chester Bennington was in the band Linkin Park, and his best friend was Chris Cornell, who started his journey into fame with Soundgarden. These 2 heroes were in fact murdered for trying to get this information out. Chester Bennington looks as though he might have been Podesta's offspring, which would explain much of the anger felt in his songs. He supposedly hung himself from a door, which he was too tall to do so from, on his best friend's birthday, no less. Chris Cornell and his wife, now widow, had a foundation that was trying to expose such things and help the children involved in these horrors. For those of you that enjoy horror films, flicks, maybe look up Killariz, KILLARY/S, SRA, where she dons a mask of the child they are in the process of sacrificing. I could not watch that one myself, but one of my sisters did. I did, however, hear the child screaming in terror, with Podesta screaming back, using the voice matching technology, proving it was in fact him. And that was more than enough for me. Besides his satanic hand gestures and symbols, all of these things are saved and will be hidden safely for future reference should I happen to Epstein myself, which I will tell you all right now, that is not going to happen by my hands. If I do go out on my own accord, it shall be taking some towers or other evil down with me. That being said, let us proceed. Word on the streets is that FEMA camps are opening in November, all while everyone else is talking about a second wave in September, October. Just get prepared spiritually at the very least. Gosh, Amy, there was so much in there. I'm not sure even my brain has taken that in. Thank you all for listening. I hope this doesn't get taken down before it gets up. I'll do my best, Amy. God bless you, and thank you for that work and research.